Hello guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to another video. Today I've got another mining guide for you and it's going to be focusing on gold ore today. So just tell you a little bit about gold before we get started. So level 40 mining is required. It is a free to play rock as well, 60-second respawn time. So that's not too bad. So usually you don't have to world hop while you're doing it, but sometimes you do depending on the location. And the price of gold ore is fluctuating quite a bit. At the moment it's at roughly 300 GP. But that could go up, that could go down. It's weird gold. I mean, before it's been as high as about 400, but then sometimes it's been as low as 200. So, I can't really explain that. But yeah, in the video I'm just going to be going through 4 spots for you. 4, I think, of the best spots in the game. Or two of them are certainly the best ones, but the other ones, are just something different. I won't give that away yet. You find that as the video goes on. There's lots of places around the game to mine the ore, so we'll just be touching on them as well. But yeah, let's get into it. The first spot is going to be the Crafting Guild. Then this is a free to play and member spot, but in members you can access a lot more features. So requirements, you have to wear a brown apron to get in. I found that out the hard way. I mean, most people probably did, but also you need 40 crafting. And what I recommend is either Falador hard diaries done, or 99 crafting, or a supply of skills necklaces. So not all 3 of them. I mean, all 3 of them you'd be pretty good, but no, just one of them should do. To get there, a crafting cape teleport, teleports you right there. Skills necklace to the Crafting Guild, or the Explorer's Ring to the Cabbage Fields just by. Or if you're free to play, then maybe a Falador teleport or Port Sarin. But yeah, this is the Crafting Guild. The easiest way to get there is simply just to use a Skills necklace teleport and straight to the Crafting Guild. But make sure you have your brown apron on. You'll see here that I didn't have it on, and the person doesn't let you in unless you think it's either you need a crafting cape on or you wear that. So yeah, make sure you don't forget that. Once you're inside, then after putting your brown apron on, you can just take it off if you need to, and put whatever mining gear you're having. And then you see there's a bank here, and this bank chest can only be used, I think, if you've either done the Falador hard diaries or you've got 99 crafting. So it does prove extremely useful. So as you can see, there are 8 rocks. Then it's a pretty huge amount. To be that close to the bank and to have 8 gold rocks is one of the reasons why I'd say this place is probably the best gold in game. But I recommend, even while doing this, if your mining level is not as high, hop worlds and just save waiting for gold. I mean, I know it's only a 1 minute spawn time, but if you're over sort of 85 and you mine it pretty quickly, then it's definitely worth hopping worlds. As for banking, then pretty straightforward. If you've got those Falador hard diaries or 99 crafting, simply use this chest and then keep going. Or the other method is to, if you're free to play, you can bank at a deposit box, which is just by the Port Sarin. It will be circled on the map, and simply run there and then run back. Or of course you can just teleport using a dueling ring and then teleport back here. But yes, lots of different ways to do this. Okay, our pros and cons of this method then. So 8 gold rocks are all close together, and if you've got those requirements, then it's extremely close to the bank. And the fact it has 8 rocks and it's free to play is a major benefit in that respect. As for the cons then, if you are free to play, it is quite far from the bank and can be quite annoying, and especially as agility doesn't prove active in free to play. Also, I've found it's quite busy in free to play too. It's not too busy in members, but as there's not as many worlds in free to play, it can get busier. And possibly for members, those requirements of the hard diaries or 99 crafting can prove quite high for some players. So I mean, I still think the method's worth doing, even if you can't use the bank. Just simply use skills necklace teleports or Falador teleports. But yeah, those requirements can seem quite high. I mean, for me they certainly did when I first started. Our next spot is the Brimhaven north area. There are 10 gold rocks here. That's a pretty big amount, and they're all in pretty much the same place. So as for requirements for this, is a member's spot, by the way. No actual requirements for it, but I do strongly recommend 29 combat and possibly 40 construction as well. We'll explain why. And how to get there then: the Brimhaven house teleport, that's the reason for 40 construction. Charter boats, Amulet of Glory to Karamja, or yes, other ways of getting to Brimhaven. But yeah, this one's a pretty good spot. So the method I've used here then, I've just got some scrolls of redirection and redirected house teleports to Brimhaven. Obviously if your house is there, you can just use the runes, that's no problem. And then from there you just want to run north, west and all the way up to the mining site. And you'll see around there are these poison scorpions, and that's the reason you need 29 combat. Otherwise they are aggressive, and yeah, you can see one right in the centre there. It will attack you, and it's pretty much going to ruin this method if you do. There is a gold ore on the floor if you want to save yourself mining. It does spawn every minute, I think, so just an extra one, I guess. But yeah, this spot, as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen sort of too many people using it. because it could be said to be quite far from the bank, but I think it's pretty efficient if you've got those Brimhaven teleports. And also the fact that there's 10 rocks, that means that they spawn. There's actually 10 rocks. They spawn in 1 minute, and pretty much as soon as you've done one lot, then the next lot will start to spawn, and that means you don't have to go through any of that world hopping. As for your banking, then it's pretty straightforward. Pretty much I just say teleport to anywhere with a close bank, so dueling ring is probably the easiest way. And then bank there, and then you can use the charter boats, or don't need to use the charter boats. You can use them if you want, but use a Brimhaven scroll, and that will take you straight back, and then run, and then mine again. As for our pros and cons then, so 10 gold rocks there, so a pretty big amount, and you don't need to world hop. Quite quiet, I've pretty much never seen another person there, or somebody come and crash me. Cons are slightly annoying to reach and quite far from bank, so if you don't have access to Brimhaven house or Brimhaven teleports, then it can prove a bit annoying to reach. And also you've got those poison scorpions, so if you're under 29 combat, then they are aggressive and they will disrupt you while you're mining, so that's probably one of the major drawbacks for this. But if you're over 29 combat, that's no problem. Okay, our next spot is the agility period near Sophanen and Narden. So this is a spot that I didn't actually know about for too much, but I thought I'd include it in this video as it is a different one, and I never know, you might like it. Requirements, no real requirements for it, apart from the fact it's in the desert, and in the desert brings with it lots of different requirements and recommendations. So I recommend possibly a contact for this quest. Contact is a quest, by the way, and that does depend on what teleports you have access to though. Desert equipment and the desert amulet 3, if you've got access to the desert amulet 3, then that's great. How to get there? Nada teleport, so it brings you pretty close. Magic carpets, the camulet, or the desert amulet teleport. Okay, so you're set up for this, then you probably want some desert robes on and a few water skins in your inventory. You shouldn't need too many, but just a couple. And you want to teleport yourself to Nada, or use the desert amulet 3, or the magic carpets. I mean, I've used Nada. And then you just want to run straight southwest, and you can see that mining site on the map there. And then here you've got 5 gold rocks with a couple of creatures near. And then, yep, off you go. And just to the south is the city of Sophanen, so that's, or however you're supposed to pronounce it, that is going to prove quite useful. So like I said, I didn't know too much about this spot, and one of the main benefits which I will go on to is just the fact that it's quiet, and it's just something different, I guess. But it's the desert, so that's what brings all the drawbacks with it and brings it down, and also the things that you need to do it in a way which I would call efficient. But yeah, as there's 5 rocks, you're probably going to need to world hop depending on your mining speed. I wouldn't really recommend this if you're not too high mining, because you're just going to use more water skins and not have enough inventory for gold. Okay, so when you're done then, one option is simply just to teleport to the bank, put your ores in the bank, and then teleport back. But the other option is to run to Sophanen, so enter this rock just to the south. This is if you've done the contact quest, by the way. And then you just simply want to go down that trapdoor. I initially went the wrong way, but it's just in the northeast. It's pretty much exactly where you come in from that rock. And if you go down that ladder, you'll see a bank, and then you can simply bank your ores and then either go out the same way or teleport back again. But yeah, this is an option for banking if you don't want to use dueling rings, but I would recommend them. Okay, so advantages and disadvantages for this, and so pros are very quiet. I don't think I've ever seen anybody else there, although I haven't done much mining there, and relatively close to the banker, depending on whether you're using Sophanen or just simply using a dueling ring. However, the disadvantages then is the desert area, so you need water skins to, or if you've got a desert amulet 4, then it doesn't matter, but you need water skins to stay alive, and it's a lot more difficult without the contact quest, quite possibly too, as you can't use that bank in Sophanen, and just the area, the desert in general is the disadvantage. That brings us to our final spot then that I'm going to be covering in detail, and this is the Arzinian Mine. It's another one that I have done a guide on, and it's a little bit confusing, but my video explains a lot more, and I will just explain in this video also what happens. So requirements: you need to have completed the Between a Rock quest, and you must wear a mining helmet. That's that gold thing you made during the quest, otherwise you can't get in, and I think as soon as you unequip it, you disappear from the mine. Recommended, a decent supply of Ring of Wealth will make this extremely good, and high agility as well, as you may be running around quite a lot. How to get there? The Dwarven Boatman in Keldegrim or the Ring of Wealth are both good ways. Okay, so the best way to get there is just to use a Ring of Wealth teleport. If your Ring of Wealth doesn't have any charges, you can charge it at the Fountain of Rune in the wilderness, don't know what I said there, and teleport to Donderken's Rock, and make sure you've got your mining helmet equipped. It is annoying because of the space, the agility it takes up. I think it's about 10 kilograms, maybe more, but you just talk to him and then he will transport you. And then you will arrive in the Arzinian Mine. Then I will have a full map of it on screen. It's huge and has 168 gold rocks in total, but there's a couple of different sectors you can get teleported to. This one is quite a good one in particular, as I think there's 8 rocks in this section, so you don't usually have to move around, because I think also in this area if you world hop you lose access to it, so you can't really do that and you have to run around instead, which means you're going to drain run energy, especially if you've got that helmet on. And yes, I tried to look on the map there, and yeah, it's an interesting spot, this one. So I didn't know about it really until I just had a look into it and made a guide on it. But it's very good because there's so much gold, meaning that there's never going to be a problem with competition, and it's just peaceful in general. It's quite a cool area actually. But one of the main disadvantages, which I will get onto, is the banking. If you don't have a strong supply of Ring of Wealth, I don't really recommend this method. Banking wise, you can either just teleport out, bank, and then use the Ring of Wealth and teleport straight back, or the other option is to get out of the mine, just unequip the helmet, and then talk to the Dwarven Boatman, which is just a couple, I think a few spaces to the east, and then you can just talk to him. You can sell him your ores, and he banks them for you, and then you just go straight back into the mine. But that is all explained in the video that I've done. I will just I'll put that on screen for you now if I can, or that it'll be in the description or at the end of the video. But yeah, if you're interested in this method, I definitely recommend you watch that video, as this is quite a complex method, and that one explains a lot more. Okay, so our main advantages of this, it's very quiet, like pretty much every gold spot, and it's got 168 gold rocks, so there's not going to be a shortage of rocks or competition. However, the potential disadvantages is that it is quite far from the bank if you're unable to do the boatman method or the Ring of Wealth method. And like I said, it's tough without the Ring of Wealth to get an efficient mount, or I'd say like more than an area like the Crafting Guild or Brimhaven. And you do need that mining helmet, which takes up, I'm not sure how many kilograms, but it does decrease your run energy quite quickly. So yeah, I'd recommend wearing Graceful for this as the prospector, plus all the ore in your inventory. It leads to quite a high weight. But yeah, interesting spot this one, and yeah, if you need to know more about it, watch the video. Okay, on screen for you now, I've got a lot of other spots that you can mine gold at. I would have included these in the video, but I didn't want it to be too long. So free to play, the Dwarven Mine, you got 2 gold rocks there. Alcarid, you got 2 rocks there. The Karamja Volcano, 4 rocks there. Rimington, 2 rocks, and Crandor, 3 rocks. As for pay to play, got the Grand Tree at 4 rocks, that's a pretty decent spot. The Lunar Isle at 6 rocks. I'm going to be doing a separate guide on the Lunar Isle, as there is more than just gold there. And the Tazar area also 3 rocks. So a lot of these places are pretty good, some just as good as the ones I've talked about, and all of them are pretty quiet. So yeah, these are the other spots you can mine gold in old school RuneScape. There's also indirect methods of getting gold, such as the motherlode mine, the blast mine, the volcanic mine. So if you want to get gold but also get some other ores, then I'd definitely recommend doing something like the motherlode mine, as you get a pretty decent amount of gold from it. So there we have it then, that is gold ore done then. So four of those spots, a couple of them perhaps not quite as popular, but just something different to do. Obviously there were a lot of other spots which I did mention. I may be doing some separate guides on those ones, as I think like the Lunar Isle is a bit more complex than you think. So yeah, as I said, be thinking of making those in the future. As my sort of opinion, I've never really been a huge fan of mining gold. It's just one of those ores I think you can't really make enough money, or for my level, it's not really enough money. Gold is useful. You can do lots of things with it. Of course, that smithing XP is one of the main reasons that it's worth mining. It adds up a lot over time. If you've got those gauntlets, then of course smithing can make you a lot of money. But I just don't think I could quite put the time into doing that. But gold ore, I think it's pretty decent. It's not too slow, especially when you get over 85. Yeah, on the whole, it's an alright ore, let's just say. As for more mining guys, then I'm looking to make as many as possible, because I'm discovering new mining methods all the time, and I think hopefully I'm going to do one on coal next. So that might be a little bit longer than this video. I tried to make this one quite a bit shorter, as the Runite one I made. Check that out if you want. That's 39 minutes long, but then that's because it needed to be 39 minutes long because of all the things I covered. But yeah, thanks for watching as usual guys. If you've got any questions on this at all, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, have a good day, and I will see you in the next video.